Welcome back to Primetime News. Special welcome to the folks watching on onespotmedia.com. Up first this evening, private sector groups have presented their list of suggestions as an opposition-led crime solution talk with government and sector groups began on Tuesday. The groups gave opening statements ahead of private discussions at the Jamaica Conference Center.
After much debate about the objective and appropriateness of the opposition hosting a stakeholders crime summit, the meeting started on Tuesday with the Attorney General Marlene Malahoo Fort representing the government, several opposition members, and representatives of over 30 private sector groups. Private sector organization President Howard Mitchell presented his organization's suggestions, but not before the parliamentary representatives spoke. The opposition insists that it called the meeting because the Andrew Holness-led government has failed to do so despite the agreement in January. They argue that in the absence of the meeting, there was still no national agreement on a solution to crime. The Attorney General refuted that suggestion.
It is true that some of the follow-up meetings desired are yet to be convened. But government and opposition schedules have not been coinciding. But it is also true that the government has been regularly convening various other meetings where the opposition and other stakeholders have been present.
All parties agreed that with crime, particularly murders, at its current level, urgent action is needed. Dr. Peter Phillips suggested that he doesn't believe enough is being done.
Any solutions which we seek will have to extend, as I said earlier, beyond the simple facts of policing. Extend into our schools, extend into community-based and family-based interventions which the society will need to undertake.
But while stating that efforts are being made and that the government is open to ideas, Mrs. Malahoo Fort says there is one fundamental hurdle, a proverbial elephant in the room.
But I think most unfortunately in our political context, there is distrust. And we have to start working on that in a more meaningful way.
For the PSOJ president, that issue is front and foremost for the majority of the local private sector. They say their proposal is not for a security plan, but for long-term strategies to build trust in those carrying out the plan.
Our approach requires the admission by the political parties of the role that politics has played and still plays in the generation of crime and violence. And it requires the public disavowal by the political parties of the continuance of the linkages between politics and gangs and gunmen.
The list also included policy change suggestions.
It also requires a medium-term commitment to unified policies which will not be changed when a minister changes or there is a new administration.
They've also called for public inclusion on details of the restructuring of the police force and the justice system to show that everyone is equal before the law. Herman Green, TVJ News.